Friday. Hello, lovely people. I'm here at the desk. I thought I was going to put the second camera back on, and then it decided to rain, and I look like a drowned rat after the school run. So we're just going to run with it this way, even though also you can see right at the beginning, 2.5 of my nails have decided that the varnish is just going to peel off. So I'm just a mess whether I look at the camera with my face or my hands today. But let's hope that the scrapbooking's not a mess, and we'll go from that. All right, shall we? Okay, so decisions. I need decision from you. I need help from you at the beginning today. So I'm going to spread out the supplies in this kit so you've got an idea of our colors and what we've got here. We've got some rainbow stripey kind of elements left. We've also got things that we haven't cut into yet. We've got butterflies. We've got clouds, which I do have a plan. That's going to be a background. But that's not what I was going to do today. So that's what I was going to do on Monday. Okay, right. So you can see the sort of stuff we've got. The back of the butterflies is pink, if that helps anybody. Right. So this is the sort of things that we have. Photos I have printed but not yet scrapped. Buzz Lightyear and Sheriff Woody. Peter Pan, which is a lot of photos. I've got a one-off of just the two of us as Hades. I've got 3 for Snow White, 4 for Cruella, and Carlos. And then I've still got this green one, but I don't think that's for today. So let's take one out of the mix. Okay, so you got 5 options. Can I type a poll with 5 different choices? And you can vote while I do my advertising speech. So start a poll. Which photos? And we are going to go for, we've got Peter Pan, Toy Story, add option, Snow White, add option, Cruella. Oh, I can only do 4. I can only do 4. It only lets me have 4 options. Okay. If for some reason you're absolutely saying that Hades is the one that needs to be done, you'll have to type it in instead. Okay, so poll is go. All right. Oh my goodness. So apparently, April says in her neck of the woods, they've had a test of the emergency alert system, but it was 4:45 a.m.? Am I reading this correctly? Oh my goodness. So yours was in the middle of the night. Yeah, ours is coming up on the 23rd. That's Sunday. Yeah, but they moved the time so it wouldn't clash with the marathon or any football. Yeah. Yeah. We've never had one here. Okay. So choices there. While you vote, I will give you my little speech. So hi, I'm Shimelle. That's me there. And there, and there, and there. That one's not me. Okay, so I teach online scrapbooking classes, design scrapbooking products, and help you use them to tell your stories in a creative way. It's not just my hobby, it is my job, and that means anytime I scrapbook on the internet, it's considered advertising, and legally, I gotta make sure you're aware of that. Are you aware of that? I hope so. Thank you for coming to watch my hashtag advertising. I appreciate you being here, whether you're live, whether you're chatty, whether you watch from the future, whether you're quiet. I don't mind at all, whether you craft or not, it's all good. I am happy that you're here at whatever point you have found me. So thank you very much. In the category of hashtag advertising, you will find that at the top of Shimelle.com or with the direct link that's in the video description today, you can find the sign up buttons for this year's story, which is the album class that's going to go live right after National Scrapbook Day weekend, International National Day weekend. That time where we scrapbook all over the place and there's like so much inspiration that it makes your head want to explode. So I didn't want to start before then. I decided I would start on the Wednesday after, okay? And it's going to be an album philosophy class that carries on from cover to cover. So cover to cover is about 10 years old now. That's my album philosophy like mantra. So it does update some things on there, and then it's going to give you a very specific look at how my chronological albums work using this year's album. So January has a flip through that's already on YouTube and you can watch. February is included in this starter class. So for $15, you get all of the starter information. It takes you through how I look at my photo library, how I made all of the pages, sketches for all of the pages, everything for February. And then the extra months as you go, you can either buy individually, or if you know you want them all, you can just click one button and sign up for the whole lot altogether. Yeah, so you've got options in there. Okay, thank you very much. That's the hashtag advertising out of the way. The links to all the supplies are also in the description box. I'm going to stop the poll now because I'm done with my speech, and Snow White is in the lead just over Peter Pan. So we're going to stop. Bing. I think that works out nicely because Peter Pan, I was happy to do Peter Pan. I was happy to do any of these. But I think I might try a different technique for Peter Pan. So yes, let's do this. That works out happily. Okay, little bend and snap. Oh, April says it was Florida only. Goodness. It was just a mistake. Not fun. Right, scissors are somehow up here. It's still raining. We had half a day yesterday of beautiful sunshine and then more rain. The marathon is on Sunday. Unless the weather changes dramatically, that ground at the starting line is gonna be soggy. Now, the race itself is run on the road, but the area where you get ready to join the starting line, part of it's in the park and part of it's on the heath, depending on which group you're running in. So that involves grass, and it is very soggy. I actually need new wellies because my wellies have cracked. Okay, so life in Rainy Town, real life, like Rainy Town problems. If you also live in a place where it rains a lot, do you have the same problem? So the last several pairs of wellies I have owned have been 10 to 12 pounds each from Sainsbury's. They seem to last reliably 2 years. And then they crack, get a hole, and they are no longer useful at all because as soon as you step in something wet, the inside of the boot fills with water. Now, I know there are kinds of wellies that cost far more money, but I'm not convinced that they won't do the same thing. So if you are a wellie expert, go on and tell us, are the expensive wellies going to last 10 years instead of 2? Or do I just carry on buying Sainsbury's wellies that are very comfortable and very cute? I mean, I've had polka dots, I've had stripes, I've had all sorts. But they last 2 years and then they crack. So should I just be happy with that? Should I not be happy with that? If you are a wellie expert and you have opinions, I'm here for you. Be my witch magazine for wellies, please. Okay, so ink today. Where did I put my notepad, my sketchy pad? Look at this. When I clean my desk, I do silly things like lose the notepad. Why do I ever do it? Here it is. But I should just, not tidy the desk. Oh, Mel says, are we talking gum boots? Yes. Gum boots. Wellingtons. Yes. Wellies. Rain boots. Galoshes. I don't think they're the same as mucklucks, but mucklucks is really fun to say. Mucklucks. Galoshes, mucklucks, macadamia. Bonus points if you know this comedy sketch. Okay. Dun, 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 dun. So here's what I was thinking. 3 photos. Not to scale. So you notice that the Snow White colors are not exactly what I've got in the kit, but I do have some of it. I don't have any true red here, but I've got some yellow, I've got some blue. I can make this work. So this is going to be a pattern, and this is going to be white. Ah, Jen does know! Bulbous bouffant macadamia. Okay, if you don't know it, you now have to look up radio-free vestibule. And then I don't know, what's the name? Oh, it's Waiting for the Bus, isn't it? The name of the sketch is Waiting for the Bus, I think, or something like that. But it's all just the best words to say. It's so good. If you like words, I might have just outed myself for a special kind of nerdiness there, but I think you already knew. Okay. So I think that means I can write straight onto the background, but I wanted to do some inky work today, and we're going to have some paper layers in here. And what are my ink colors from this month? Picked Raspberry, Scattered Straw, and Salvage Patina. One of which is fine for Snow White. Okay, so I'll start with Scattered Straw. Okay, so have I got a yellow booper out? No, okay. I'll just do it with a different color, but so we're gonna do some ink work. This is sketchy code for ink work. Yeah, you got it, you totally understand, and in no way is that bonkers. Okay. Wait. Jen says it's Dr. Demento. What? No. It's Radio Free Vestibule. But they did change their name. But were they just guests? I have to find out now. Radio Free Vestibule, Waiting for the Bus. Oh, the Vestibules, formerly known as Radio Free Vestibule, a Canadian comedy troupe. Okay. So they're now just known as the Vestibules, Waiting for a Bus. Oh, but if you start typing it, Bulbous Bouffant comes up. Yeah, so you can find it if you just search for Bulbous Bouffant. Yeah. Okay. I got totally thrown there going, no, what is my memory? There we go. Apparently they're now called the Vestibules. Right. They also have a song about I don't want to go to Toronto. It gets in my head on a not uncommon basis. Right, we're going to put a title in here. And we're going to put journaling underneath it. Which is great, Shimelle. Where's the embellishment going? Yeah, let's figure that out. You know, I don't know that you could have predicted this, but it's going to go diagonally. Because I am nothing if not predictable. Right, I am going to think that if you wanted to, you could stitch this layer, and that would be really cool. Obviously not going to do that on a live stream, but I like the idea in my mind. Yeah? Okay. Right. Helen has hunter wellies, and they have been going for 12 years. Wow. Okay. I've never had a pair of wellies last anywhere near 12 years. So that is very interesting. Right. So, sketch. Da, da, da. There you go, if you want a screen cap. Is that recognizable as a scrapbook page sketch? Maybe. I think so. Okay. Right, so what have I got that is going to become the 12 by 12? Let's look at that first. And then I'm going to put white on top of it. No, these things are not 12 by 12, so no. This would not look so cute with that on top. There's some red in here. Have I cut into both of the reds? I have. Gosh darn it. Okay, how about this yellow? Have I cut into the yellow? No, I haven't cut into the yellow. Okay, so we got a yellow background. Right. Right, let's put the sketch over here. Let's move all of this over so I have some desk space. And I think the rain is drowning out today's noisy outdoor electrical equipment, but it is there. Someone in the pouring down rain is trimming a hedge. Why would you do it in the rain? I don't know. Maybe it's a hired gardener. But you know, I would just wait for it to not be raining. Yes, Elaine, the our Australian and New Zealand crowd will call them gumboots, which is funny because Wellington is in New Zealand and yet the Kiwis don't call them Wellingtons. Oh, and there's a Wellington in Australia as well. Amazing. Yeah, so apparently Wellington is just everywhere. Everyone can look on a map and find out where's the Wellington closest to you? And is it a climate where they need rain boots? Oh no, the adhesive Avenger is sighing at me from the other room. So this means that he knows the reason why they're called Wellington boots and thinks that I'm deaf for not knowing. Are you going to enlighten me or do I have to suffer? Oh, he's laughing at me. He's laughing at me because I'm making the assumption that they're for rain and not for fields. I got it. Yeah, to be fair, that is something I should have thought about. I also should have done that in the opposite order, but hey, live and learn. Okay, so I've taken an inch off one side and just taking the branding strip off this side. This is smooth white basil cardstock. So it's basil smoothies in coconut swirl, which is what I get in bulk as my white cardstock other than the Vicky B foundation stuff. Speaking of which, when I say in bulk, I don't order enough cardstock that I order at wholesale, but I order it in a pack of 25, sometimes 50, if I'm working on something in particular. I think it needs a bit more than that. Okay, let's take another ½ inch off. So I'm not sure why I don't do this with many scrapbooking supplies. Almost all of my scrapbooking supplies I buy from scrapbooking retailers. White cardstock, that is what I like in 20 packages of 25 or whatever, is really hard for some reason. And so it's always in stock on Amazon. I don't know. Oh, Jen got sidetracked learning more about Bulbous Bouffant, the vestibules, and Dr. Demento because she'd only ever encountered it on a Dr. Demento CD. I got it. And I have never heard of them that, like, I don't have any connection to Dr. Demento. So I was like, I mean, I've heard the name, but it's not something that is in my vocabulary. Now, this was supposed to be square, and it doesn't look square to me. Hold on. This side is 26.5. This side is 1/4 of an inch. Oh, but which way was that? Now I've moved the paper and not paid attention. No, hold on. 26 3/4. No, it is a square. How did I measure it not as a square and then measure it as a square and not change it? Am I going to watch this back later and be really embarrassed that I've done something daft? It's quite possible. Okay, have I got a Pac-Man? Because I'd quite like to do those edges. But I'm not sure if I've put my Pac-Man somewhere useful today. Pac-Man is a lovely old tool. Here it is. It's ancient. This is like 3 companies ago for Heidi Swap. There's a tiny little razor blade in there. So you can use the edge of your scissors if you like the look, but don't have one of these. But if you do ever run into one, they last apparently for all time. It works exactly as it did when it was new. Yeah, I think this thing could go almost to university if. Jen says, have you ever thought about words that you say that could be added to that sketch? Because she was thinking of salvage patina could be a good one. I was giggling the other day because WB came up to borrow some inks. Because over the holiday, one day he just decided he wanted to do ink blending backgrounds. Okay, now I have loads of card blanks where he's blended the backgrounds. Great. Anyway, he was picking out colors and reading out their names. An uncharted mariner, bless him, he's looking at it, and as soon as he would get one part, then the other part would go. And it must have taken him about 8 times to get both parts together, and it was adorable. Because at first he was like, uncharted mariner. And then I was like, no, it's uncharted. And he went back and he looked again. He was like, oh yeah, uncharted marine. And I'm like, no, mariner. And he just kept going with words that were so close, but not quite. It was funny. Jane says, now my challenge is to use them. Well, we used to do this. Okay, so in my acting history, I hate improv. I know it seems ridiculous that I now live stream because I hate improv a lot. It was my least favorite part of getting an acting degree. I did not like it. I did it because it was required, not because I was good at it, and really not because I enjoyed it. Oh my goodness. The only improv that I liked particularly well, there was one improv exercise in my entire degree that I actually enjoyed, and it was you had to dress in costume in a group, and then you had to go out in real life and stay in character. Now that sort of thing I can basically do. So it was in preparation for a production of Nonsense. You know Nonsense? It has mostly been eclipsed by Sister Act becoming a musical, so it's rarely done anymore, but it does exist as a kind of regional community theater kind of production. In fact, I think there's even a sequel. Right, so I played Sister Mary Amnesia, who is a nun who's been taken in because she got hit on the head with a crucifix and lost her memories, as you do. Right, so we had to go out. We had to go out into the community, which at the time meant my very small college town in southeast Kansas, and do something that would be a very normal behavior for your normal social group, but very abnormal behavior for your character. So there were 5 of us, and we all dressed in full habits and went bowling. We went bowling at the Pittsburgh bowling alley dressed as nuns. And tried to be believable in character. Okay, so that improv exercise was brilliant. That is the only time I have ever enjoyed improv. And every other dramatic improvisational activity I ever had to do was me really just trying to survive. So there we go. Are these 3 going to fit across here? Yes. Okay. Yay. This is not your ink choice today, Shimelle. So getting words into scripts. This is where this came from. I have done plays where there's a little bit of improv otherwise in a written script. And one of the shows we did for a fairly long run for a uni show, like a few weeks. People who really liked improv quickly became bored of the improv section and wanted it to be more exciting. So we would arrive at the theater and there would be a chalkboard filled with words. And it would be words that we had to use in the improv section. Words you had to figure out how to get into the story. Yeah. Oh my. I remember ending up having to work aluminum siding in, which is really funny because obviously, well, maybe not obviously. Does everybody know that the world does not all say aluminum? Because in this country we say aluminium. It's spelled differently. It's said differently. It's the same thing though. And yeah, so right, what am I going to do with this? But I remember some of the others. I remember there was a section on, one day we had to talk about toaster ovens had to go in. But one person in the mix did like to find words that were fun to say. And that was definitely my favorite of any word that was going to be on the blackboard. So instead of, like, if somebody else said your word first, you're going to have to find a way to get to one of the other words. And so I would try to get in early with the one that would be fun to say. So yeah, I remember having to say clackety clack at one point, and I was like, how do I get clackety clack in? And clearly it's burned into my brain because you know this song, Yakety Yak? So somebody was like, had a little bit of attitude, and in the moment I just went, oh, clackety clack and don't talk back. And then I wanted to laugh at myself because it was so ridiculous. Oh, I'm rubbish at improv. So there we go. Right. I'm going to do some ink splodging and some stenciling. Maybe even some stamping. So maybe that stencil? I feel like that would work nicely with the yellow. And what color? So I've got reds and blues here. And that is, okay. I think that's prize ribbon and barn door. No, not barn door, the new red, lumberjack plaid. Very Snow White kind of combination there. Right. So I think, do I want to go that bold with the blue? What about chip sapphire instead? It is quite bright in the photos though. You got a preference? More toward the navy, more toward the blue that matches? I mean, I don't think super dark navy for Snow White. I do think closer to a royal blue. Right, Orangina, talk about what you were watching. We need to know. You said you had to catch up with the new video for UYS. Help. What's UYS stand for? Okay, blue that matches. Good, good, good. We're good. Becca gave up debating because she was terrible at thinking on the spot. She could go okay when she talked first and no rebuttal required. So, in fact, I did the one. I just started in with nerdy debate terms. Okay, I'm just going to go with it and I'll explain it in case debate stuff is not your vocabulary. So, in policy debate, the affirmative goes first and the first person has to present their case. So there's only one speech that's planned in advance. It's that first speech and it's called the 1AC, the first affirmative constructive. So that's the only one that's ever prepared. Then everything else is argument. And I was always, through all 6 years that I debated, the first affirmative, so I did the 1AC, and I was always second negative. So I was either the first person to speak, and I started with the prepared speech, yes, or the last person to speak, so I had more time to get ready. Oh, hilarious. Orangina, when she used UYS, she was talking about use your stickers. So I didn't even recognize the abbreviation from my own product. I'm sorry. Yay! Sherry has a gorgeous view and she's here to watch live. Sherry is off being a world traveler. I love that I did not think of what UYS could stand for. I'm sorry. I'm very silly. Okay. Let's have a bit of this blue splodged first, and the trick is going to be to make it not be too heavy. I'm going to use a block, maybe? Yeah. Okay. Block and some water. Am I good there? Sherry is at the Nile and the Temple of Philae? I may be saying that completely wrong. I'm just going to go with it. Okay, so I got ink, water. So I just want to make sure that I don't have harsh square edges. Also, let's make sure I don't get Maleficent all wet and grumpy. Dry the desk. Oh my goodness, it's absolutely pouring outside. Okay. So, I'm going to just roll this around a little bit. Because when you use block, it is going to kind of stamp itself down. So I just want to spread out that water a little bit. Right, here we go. Yep. Now there's a reason why this heavy bit is up here, and that's because that's the most likely to get covered. I can pull and drag this down. Like that. I quite like that. All right. Okay. So while that dries, I'm going to work on the paper layers behind there, and then I'll come back and stencil this in yellow over the top. All right. So paper that I'm going to put behind. Now I know I had cut into all of the red, but I hadn't used it all up. So I can do a box of these, yeah. And make that about here. Becca says she only debated for a few years at high school because it's not a big thing where she grew up, but she did the same positions. First to speak on the affirmative, last to speak on the negative. You'd think being a teacher would help with improvising, but nope. Correct. Same. There was in public speaking season, so in Kansas, you don't do debate the whole year. The year is split, and you do just debate and student congress in the first half of the year, and you do all of the forensic events, so public speaking that's not debate, like oration, public persuasive speaking, extemporaneous, the one where you have to like you draw a topic and then it's something that's been in the news that week and you have to talk about it, and you get I think you get 30 minutes to prepare for an 8-minute speech if the bit that apparently is lodged in my brain is correct. Yeah, what else? Informative speaking, all of that sort of stuff, but also prose and poetry interpretation, dramatic and humorous interpretation, and some duo events. Okay, so they're split. You do half the year of debate and then if you do Lincoln Douglas debate, now I'm really getting nerdy, that falls in the second half of the year. But Lincoln Douglas is not a huge thing, or was not a huge thing where I grew up. Right. So you had to at some point do one of these improv events, and in Kansas there was an event. I don't think it's in every state because it's not an NFL topic, but it can be. Oh, and they're not even called the NFL anymore, are they? The National Forensic League, I think, has changed its name. But anyway, moving on. So I'm going to use some of this as well. It was called IDA, improvised duet acting. Okay, can we stop for a moment and be like, is there anything more frightening than the fact that there will be not just you, but also not a group to hide in, just two of you who will be improving, and you will draw a topic and then have to come up with a 10-minute skit. Oh my goodness. I had to do it once because our class had a kind of unwritten requirement that you had to try every event once over the 4 years of high school if you were doing this sort of stuff. So I did, at some point, all of the events, including IDA and including extemp. But IDA and extemp are both the events that made me want to crawl in a hole and never speak again. No, and no. All right, yellow. So I know I've got the yellow here, but I feel like I've got a red, I've got a blue. I need something yellow here. I kind of want to take some of this. Oh, actually that could be really pretty. I should have bought 2 sheets of this. Really should have. Okay, so what have I got width-wise? Let's take this down to here. Okay, so that does still give me a little bit of yellow here if I want to come back to it. All right, let's ink these. I think you could go brown or black, but I'm going to go black. Where's the booper for that? Where are you hiding? Here you are. My blonde child's been using my ink pads. Blonde hair on my ink pad. There's only one person in this house who's blonde. Okay, how are we doing for drying there? Not too bad, not too bad. Let's work out how this could go. It might need like cutting apart. I'm just going to move this out of the way for a second so it can dry without me trying to work around it. Okay. Let's start from here. That's going to go slightly off this edge. And that one's going to go slightly off that edge. But nothing's going above or below. And everything's got a white border, so it's going to have a nice clean frame. And that onto here. This has a cut, so we're going to go this side. Or I could just turn it upside down because I kind of want it to go that way. It's going to go across like that. Now, where's the best place to put this? I like it like this, I think. Yeah. Now, you could distress all of those edges as well, by the way, but I just did the white. So then that is going to look like this on there. And I think this is going to get all popped up. Let's get some Papio strips. All the way across there. I did not add any of this to my last order. That's silly. I did, however, get my May kit. It has arrived. Huzzah. Which is good because it felt like it was really quick. And it wasn't slow or anything. But we're closer to the end of April than I perhaps am comfortable being. It's all right. Oh, maybe I shouldn't take that off yet because it'd be easier to stencil with this flat. So let me just vaguely cover that back up. Okay. So that's going to go up like that, and I'm going to stencil down to here. Right. Okay. Stencil is here. I'm going to journal toward this side, so I want to stencil toward this side. Tape that up there and then down here again. Right, booper. Boop it up. If you're new around here, there's a reason to go all the way around the ink pad when you are inking with oxides. With distress ink, you can just go in one spot if you want because the formula for the ink has it all meshed in there together. But when you're using oxide inks, they do separate a little bit. Think of it like if you had acrylic paint in a bottle and you left it on the counter or in your shelf or cupboard or whatever for a year, and then you went to use it, you would naturally go and shake it up before you use it. Well, I can't shake up an ink pad, but I can ink from all around the ink pad rather than just in one place, and that will give me a more unified formula for my ink. Now, it's oxide, so I can layer them without them just going into mud, which is lovely. So that's what I'm going to do. Now, I'm not going to do the whole stencil here and just do this kind of section there, which looks lovely. And then I want a little bit of the stenciling to come up above. So I come back up here and just add a little bit of it in here so that there's a little ink work that's going to continue above the photos too. There we go. Right, so what am I going to do with the red? Well, that is going to come in next, but this needs to go on before the red because things like stamp placement work best by figuring out where all of the elements are and then stamping around them, especially with a super bright color like red. So I'm going to put this in place, which is going to go here. And I'm going to get the title in. Now I've got yellow letters in here. Oh, I haven't used the yellow ones yet. I thought I had used all three, but I have not. Okay. All right, so I'm going to go with a title that fits into the story. So anytime we do anything Snow Whitey, WB goes, I'm wishing. And the reason this is extra funny is he never remembers the rest of the song. But he knows that Snow White always goes, I'm wishing. And then he's just left hanging on that unresolved note. And in my head, I have to come in and sing for da 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 to resolve the phrase. So I'm going to punish myself for all times by putting the unresolved phrase as the title. Wishing. I don't know. Hands up, do unresolved tones bother you? Like if someone sings half a line of a song, do you have to finish it either out loud or in your head? Or is that fine? Also, in a non-musical way, if somebody starts talking to you and stops in the middle of a sentence, are you cool with it or not cool with it? Does it bother you? Or are you like, seriously, please finish your sentence. You started, so you finish. I have a little bit more patience for it now that I know I do it on live streams because sometimes it is very difficult to keep the focus on both what I'm doing on the page, like, so what if I am talking about something else while I scrapbook and then something goes terribly wrong here and I totally lose the track of my random rubbish? Or if I read the comments while I'm talking about something else and I can very easily lose track of where I'm going right in the middle of a sentence. So that has made me a little bit more understanding of people who do stop in the middle of a sentence and just leave it be. But let's be honest, a little bit. I'm not saying fully understanding. So if I do it and you're like, Shimelle, I totally understand. Okay, and I'm not alone. Jean says sentences need to be finished. Orangina says she has to finish it or the song will be with her all day, sometimes multiple days. Her kids, oh my goodness, you've trained them. Orangina's kids know to just look up the song and play it if she's driving. I love it. Elaine says this is very Sheldon Cooper and Roger Rabbit of me. Yes. I don't deny any of that. I resemble that remark. Am I still live? Yes, I am still live. I read that in a way that was like, are you still alive? I think so. Hold on. I'm pretty sure I'm still alive. We never know. Oh, I'm sorry that your day is rubbish so far, though. Let's hope that it gets much better. Right. That spacing looks terrible. Okay, let's put the words like this and figure out how to add an apostrophe because adding the space for this giant apostrophe does not work. And the song is definitely not I Am Wishing, so I can't do that. And I wanted, oh, I don't have 3 dots. I wanted an ellipsis here, but I don't have 3. I only have 2 on the sheet, so I have 1 if I use this for the apostrophe. And my I's and J's are all capitals, so they don't have dots. Okay, so we're going to come up with something that can go in here. I could stamp it in red. Maybe just a little space, not a lot, just a tiny, tiny space. Oh my goodness. It is pouring on our roof. Okay, let me find some letter stamps. See if I've got an apostrophe or comma, you know, because they would stamp just the same. Sherry, our world traveler, finished her Dubai album 2 days before she flew out so that she could guilt-free scrapbook Egypt when she gets home. But she still has 3 more countries to go after Egypt. Indeed, indeed, indeed. Okay. Letter stamps. If I got a nice apostrophe / comma. Where's that come from? Boop, 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 boo. So far I'm finding all the alphabets that don't have punctuation. That's useful. No. Okay, let's look at some different options because these don't have punctuation. I got any alphas in this set? What about this? This one, this one, this one. Oh, Shimelle. Oh, past me is a numpty. Look at that. Lovely, right? Guess what's the only stamp that's missing? The comma. I've lost it at some point. Probably because I did this same sort of thing and then didn't put it back, and it's the tiniest stamp in the world. Oh. Are there any alphas in here that have a comma or an apostrophe? So weird. I know, I could just write it in with a pen, but in the very eloquent words of every 2-year-old ever, no, not every 2-year-old, but you know, every sassy small person, I don't wanna. I don't even have a better explanation other than I want it stamped. I don't want it written in. And every alphabet I'm looking at right now doesn't have an apostrophe. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I am going to selectively ink a word stamp that has apostrophes in it. This is ridiculous, and it's going to work. So it's fine. It's fine. So I have these. And there's an apostrophe in weave, and there's an apostrophe in your. I have no idea why this set of words in a stamp set. So these came in a kit, and they're planner stamps, so they're super duper tiny so that you can put little icons on your calendar. But why would you need phrase stamps that says you're the addict? I don't know. I think it's just coincidence that they've put the words there together. And then it's more like you put the shopping cart with addict to be like, I'm a shopping addict, or coffee with addict, gaming with, yeah. But it's really not a phrase I would use. So it surprises me not at all that I have never inked the especially the stamp that just says addict. No, I can't do it. It's just, I don't know. I'm sorry. I have issues. I don't like the idea. Right. Oh, yes. Sherry's going to be in the plane for the coronation, I think. Yeah? Just to jump from commentary on words used in crafting products to that. Okay, so I just want this tiny little apostrophe. So I'm going to use this tape to take everything else out. Oh, you know what's easier? Maybe just use the tape for everything except the little gap. Otherwise, I'm just going to get very inky tape. Let's put the ink over here, or the tape over here. And I can see where my apostrophe is going to go. It's going to go right there. Okay. So, oops. I'm going to take this off, and then I'm vaguely going to take the rest of the excess off here. No, it's going to have to be better than that. I've looked at the size of the gap and how tiny this stamp is. This is so silly. This apostrophe is going to be the world's smallest apostrophe, and I'm spending all this time getting it just so. All right. Dun, dun, dun. There's an apostrophe. It's not to scale, but it's there so my grammatical mind can rest. Elaine says, wait till WB is older, and then I'll want to use the gaming addict stickers or stamps. Do you think we'll be on PlayStation 14 by then? We have a Switch, and that's all we got at this point. Yeah. Okay. I think we've had a PlayStation at one point before we had WB, but I'm trying to think what number we would have been on. I have no idea. Old. Oh, the adhesive adventure reliably informs me we had a PlayStation 2 and a PSP. I don't think I ever used the PSP, but I did have a Game Boy, I had an actual original Game Boy as a kid, but as an adult, I had the little flip-up one, which has ridiculous battery life and still works in this house. Like every once in a while, it comes back out, and one charge lasts years. I don't understand. Technology, like iPhone, please find out why does that battery not degrade over time? It'll be because it's not constantly being plugged in and used. I get it, but still. Right, red ink here. Other stamps, not these stamps. Right, so what kind of thing? Sherry likes PS old. I like how that sounds. It sounds accurate. PS old. Okay. What kind of stamps to use today? I know it might shock you, but I don't have any Snow White themed stamps. I have Star Wars, not helpful. I have Christmas at Disney stamps, not helpful. I have these. Is there anything on there useful? I have Halloween at Disney, also not helpful. I have Small World, not helpful. Roller coaster. I could go, completely away from Disney themed stamps, but I was thinking I'd have a look. I could also go with like some woodland creatures because that feels very Snow White to me. Woodland creatures. But I'm just checking in case I've got something fabulous that I haven't used because I forget that I have it. And none of us know what that's like, do we? None of us would ever do such a thing. Okay. Oh, no, that's still seasonal. Right. Okay. Just curious, like, do any of these die cut packs or anything include Snow White references? But I don't think they do. That looks like Main Street. That looks like Pirates. Yeah, none of those look Snow Whitey to me. Okay, just throwing it out there. Would be quite happy to have a Snow White collection. So this one could work. This is Kelly Perky stamp set, by the way. But only that one. I've also got, is it in here or is it put away? Yeah, I've got this set. Oh, and I've got that scrapbook.com magical one that we used in a kit one time. Hold on. Where's, that's probably in with my Best of Both Worlds stuff. Or, you know, it's not, and I don't know where I would have put it because it's an awkward size. It's a silly size that doesn't fit in any of these pockets or in my stamp storage. So, okay. Just let that one go, I think, and don't think too hard about it, Shimelle. Okay. This has lots of little pieces, so I think we can do that. Right. Let's use that phrase, though, so that I can be sure to have done that. Okay. Now, I'm going to stamp this first in Scattered Straw. Right under the title. Sorry, are you seeing the top of my head where I just piled all of my rained-on hair into the messiest bun ever known to man? I don't know how far I leaned over. I'm waiting for it to catch up on the bit where I see what's going out to YouTube. No, I think I got away with it and you didn't see my drowned rat hair. Aren't you sad to have missed out on such an occasion? Okay. And then I'm going to take a paintbrush. Tiny one. Where's a tiny one? That'll work. And just a little bit of red there. I'm going to put a little bit of water on here. I could just go fill it. It's a water brush, but I didn't do that. And then I'm going to fill in the inside of the letters. Now, I'm going to fill the bottom half, and then I'm going to come back in and soften it up. So I need to work relatively quickly here, or this could all go horribly wrong. It's okay. Worst case scenario, if it doesn't want to blend the way that I imagine it in my head, then I color in the whole thing. But just so you're aware of my process here, my train of thought. Oh, it's a bit messier than I wanted it that time. Okay. Okay, then a fair amount more water. Come back in and pull it up. Do I love it? Not yet. It's okay. Okay, just gonna keep going here. Why did I do it that way? It's not the cloth that needs to get wet, it's the brush. Okay. So I'm gonna get this quite wet now and drop a little bit more color into it. Okay, starting to like it a little bit better now. Because I didn't want it completely pink at the top, I just wanted it lighter. And I'm getting that now. I'm not sure that I would recommend this technique. But, you know, we try new things. We see what we like. It's just that it's very small. I've done this same sort of thing with a bigger, more open space and been a little happier with it. I'm not disliking it now, though, but it's taking a lot of carrying on. Just keep going. So I may be overworking it at this point, but I'm liking it more as the overworked version. Just kind of go through the phase of it looking like, oh, you kind of did that and it was kind of messy, to the point where it looks like it's meant to be that way, like it's meant to be watercolory, because that was the softness I wanted. And at first I didn't get soft, I got mistake, but now it's starting to soften. Yeah. So this is stamped nice and clean, but then this feels more watercolor. Yay. Oh, speaking about stamping and things. Tomorrow night, I am teaching as part of the Ornamentally Yours Spring Inspiration Weekend. So I'm on at 6 o'clock my time, 10 o'clock West Coast morning time. Yeah? West Coast of America, I mean. It's not a different time zone to Cornwall. So, yeah. You can find that on Facebook, and I'll link to it in places. But if you want to come, and I'm doing floral, like a floral frame that you could put around a quote if you want to put it on a card or in a journal, or you could put around photos if you want to put it on a scrapbook page. And you can do it with either doodled flowers or stamped flowers. You can do it either way. Cool. Right. So I'm happier with that now, but I do want some other red stamping in here to balance it out. So where did I put my block? I just looked at it. It's here. And let's have a few of these. Let's see. I think I'd rather go hearts than stars. Or I could do little diamonds. No, stick with your guts. I want to do hearts. Is there a tiny heart? I don't think there is. So I'm going to do this size heart. In red. Oh, that's okay, Orangina. You have a wonderful time. It'll be there on replay. It'll just be on Facebook. Instead of over here. And then I'm going to do one down here for the bottom of the journaling. Now you could watercolor these as well to make it match, but I'm going to fit the journaling in between here. I think that's all right. Now what would be really nice is if I had a smaller heart to go up in the top left corner, because this one is too big. It won't fit up there. So I'm going to use this small heart from a phrase stamp on this same sheet. And it's an I heart this place, but I'm only going to use the heart. So let's see. Just take the ink off the other words. Should be all right. There. I actually think that these would enjoy a little tiny heart friend. So I'm going to do a bit more of that and just clean the letter next to it every time. Okay. I think I messed up that time. Let's try again. That's better. There we go. Okay. So I got all my colors in. Got my yellow, I got my blue, I got my red. So Scattered Straw was in our ink picks for this month, and then I just added a red and a blue rather than a pink and a turquoise, which is what we had before. Okay. Get that so you can see the whole page again. Right, so the stamp sets I used, this one is Ellie Studio, that one was from Kelly Perky. Neither of them are brand new. They've both been in my stash a while. Okay. Journaling's going to go in here. What else am I going to use to embellish? Well, let's have a little look-see through what is left and what I might just pop into this page. So I've got things like labels and a sticker book to go through. Just going to grab my enamel dots out of here. And I've got some green pieces there. I thought I could look for things that had like tree type elements. I know this has those paintings in it. The not quite Bob Ross paintings, but landscape paintings. But I don't think they're quite foresty enough. They're more mountains. They don't make me think of Snow White like this. It doesn't make me think Snow White. I like this yellow though, and I could put this on the outside pieces. So I could do one here. Here. And then the other two I'll bring to this side. When I'm somehow placed further out than the others, can I bring it in without messing it all up? Yeah. Oh, that's not so great either. Third time's a charm. Okay, I might mess with it later. I might just leave it be. Oh, Jolene says she absolutely loves Cover to Cover and it highly recommends it. Yay! Cover to Cover is an excellent way to start for the class that's going to start in May, in just a couple weeks. I'm going to add in some green up here. Yeah, it's a really good primer, and there's just some of the stuff in the new class references that, and yeah, if you have a look, or at least have the option to go look when it gets to a point where it references it, that might be super helpful. Okay, so I'm going to do a little shot of green top and bottom. I've got these labels to tuck in. If you don't know what classes you've got, as long as you can log into the forum, then you can see. I might put one out here, yeah? So yeah, if you go to shimelle.com/forum and sign in with your username and password, then you'll see all the classes that you have access to. If you are still a little stuck and that doesn't help, or you don't remember your username and password, if you don't remember your username and password, send me an email, shimelle@gmail.com, and I can help you with that. Don't use the password reset button. You will just get stuck in an endless loop because your internet provider will almost certainly say, "This is spam, you don't want this." And no matter how much you want it, it won't give it to you. So just send me an email and I'll sort it for you. This one here, and then the blue one up there. But yes, thank you for all your enthusiasm for new classes, big and small. And I hope that those of you who did Scrap a Rainbow also enjoy the bridging class that takes you from Scrap a Rainbow into this year's story. I think you'll like it. It's very colorful and has some more notes about color, but also while telling stories of just normal chronological stories that are going to go in your annual album. Yeah. Like that. I know I put the smaller one to the outside, but for some reason it's just wanting to go there. Okay. Journalin's going to go in there. Once the journalin's dry, I'm going to add gold mist across that diagonal. And that's it. So there we go. Oh, thank you so much for all the very kind comments about classes in the comments. I really, really appreciate it. Yay. Oh, Orangina, I had this same problem. Orangina says she finished all her Scrap a Rainbow layouts. So we scrapbooked by color. So she's got like multiple layouts in each color all the way through. Now I can't decide if they stay in their own album or if I need to put it in order by stories. So I unusually kept them in color order while I was working on the class so that I could see what I had done and where I was, because sometimes I make the pages out of order and things like that. And really then got to the end and was like, oh, but I really like how this album flows. I really like this colorful album. So there we go. You may see that little lesson learned come back in other ways as I work on my pages. Right, I hope you have a wonderful weekend. I'll be back again on Monday afternoon, 1:30 p.m. And I hope that you might join me at some point, either live or from Tomorrowland or in class. So that'd be great. If you enjoyed this video and you want to give it a thumbs up, that'd be super duper awesome, and I'll see you soon. Thanks so much as always. Bye-bye.